Today is the day. For some of y'all who have been keeping up with me on Instagram, y'all know that I have been working on some kind of project, and today we reveal it to you. Welcome back to the Prehistoric Life podcast. I'm your host, Eric Crawford. Welcome back to the Jurassic Legacy segment. Today we are joined by Jack O'Hara again.
It is me once more.
The one and only.
Well, they say that, but I'm
Somewhat
sure there's another out there, a little bit more talented, probably better looking.
I don't know. I haven't met him.
I'm not here to split straws. I'm here because we have something interesting to talk about today, Eric, my man.
Very
So
much.
I have been hearing, wink, wink, through the Zygoss, that you have been working on something Jurassic related for quite a long time now, actually.
6 months?
I think it's closer to 8 to 12, if I remember correctly. Like, you got to remember, we're in 2025 now, bro. It's been a while. So, I suppose, first and foremost, we got to let everybody listening know, what is this thing you've been working on, man? Like, what's all these little things you've been dropping on the page? It's been getting people like, what's going on here?
For those of you who have been paying attention to the Instagram, and for those of you who not on Instagram, you're about to get a reveal out the thorn bush. Don't even know if that's a saying, but it's a saying now.
No one. It is now.
I have written a book that takes place within the Jurassic World canon called Jurassic World Wildcards with the help of a good friend of mine, Samuel Livingston's, and the one and only Jack O'Hara.
That's me. Oh my goodness.
It is.
I can't believe it.
And it's out now. It's here.
Wow.
Y'all will be able to read it. It's coming out. I'm going
He's
to.
done the thing. He's done the thing, ladies and gentlemen.
He
Unbelievable.
He did the thing.
He did the thing.
If you're going to, so I will say this first. It is going to be free on my Patreon. I'm going to put it up free, move it from whatever tier, the Cretaceous tier for early access, to just free to the public. So you can find it there. I will also put a link in my Instagram description for y'all to read it there. And eventually, hopefully soon, on my website, I will put a section where you can go find it and read it for free.
Fascinating. So, Eric, I have some questions for you off the rip, mate, as I'm sure many of your listeners do. What on earth is Jurassic World Wildcards about?
So, to summarize the plot without giving it away, you gotta go read it yourself.
You can read it, you nerds.
It is about a group of unsuspecting heroes, a hodgepodge of random characters that come together to kind of steal one guy's mission to hunt down his brother after his brother supposedly kills his family. Very, very heavy topics.
Could easily be sold to children overseas, I'm sure.
Oh, something like that.
Surely. Right? Everybody listening? Yeah, you show your children that. So that's interesting. All right, not a bad little hook, line, and sinker there for me. So tell me this, right? What made you want to set this story, from what you've told me, what makes you want to set this story after the events of Fallen Kingdom, as opposed to beforehand? So, as opposed to what many people do is going to an island, whereas now...
A lot of people, yeah, like you say, set things going back to Nublar, back to Sorna, to the other deaths, Pena, Montanceros, not Onos, and
Ticano, Isla Peña.
But or just another island. I decided to set it after Fallen Kingdom and before Dominion because I do tie some characters in. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
You have to read to find out who.
But also that's when dinosaurs on the mainland. That's kind of the height of when dinosaurs were on the mainland. They were scattered, sold into, like, they were trafficked. I was about to say slavery, but that's not the right word. They were trafficked a little bit. Some of them. I do kind of have a idea of how they might be bred for purposes and sold,
Ooh.
which would be which I thought was an interesting topic. But that is also just whenever they're everywhere. So I can kind of set it anywhere and then have dinosaurs there and then pick what
Mm.
dinosaurs are there.
Interesting, interesting. And so, what made you, I suppose, to ask a bit of a broader question here, what made you want to write your own fan story interpretation of things that are set within the universe? Because I mean, a lot of us fans, we watch the movies, we watch the shows, we love what we see, but what made you want to write this particular story?
Honestly, it just came down to I wanted to tell my own story,
Hmm.
so I did.
Oh, you love it. You love it. Bit of,
Like I felt like I had a story that would be interesting, so I put all the scatterbrain random thoughts of interesting events,
mm,
tied them together, and called it a book.
wow, fascinating. So also moving so onto this lovely logo here you've got going on, designed by I'm sure a very talented artist. The main for those of them who are somehow watching this on YouTube that can actually see what we're seeing, that skeleton there. What creature is that on the screen
That
there?
there is a Suchomimus.
Ooh, so interesting that you would be putting a Suchomimus on there. So what is the Suchomimus play a very central aspect to the story? Would you say, or is that just like the
So
first one that kind of came to your mind?
there is a so as we know from Camp Cretaceous and Chaos Theory, they have their partner in crime, Bumpy, is a dinosaur that's friendly towards the group. Owen has I was about to say Beta, but Blue, who's friendly, hot-ish towards him. And as we have seen in Chaos Theory now, season 3, go
Mm-hmm.
watch that review coming out soon. What?
Oh, sometime. What?
We have dinosaurs that can be trained for whatever purpose that you can kind of
Mm,
train them. And so that was something that I took into consideration with creating the dinosaur within it. Phantom, the about to say baryonyx, but it's not a
dun,
baryonyx.
dun,
It is a Suchomimus.
dun.
I also chose Suchomimus because I feel Suchomimus in Chaos Theory Season 2 was horribly utilized. I love
Ooh.
Suchomimus, and I don't think it would be thrown down by a Majungasaurus. I posted my own episode on that. Go watch that. Um,
He's
so I
forgetting the really cool fight it had with the hippopotamus just the episode before, but we'll just ignore that. Shh.
but I just wanted to use Suchomimus as compelling, and
Yeah.
I feel like it is something that could be utilized, so I utilized it. I
Interesting.
also just
Interesting.
like Suchomimus, so
Oh, of course, of course. It always comes down to personal preference, as it should, in my opinion, at least. So, of course, so as we say, so this story follows an intrepid fellow on a mission, right? Can you give us without spoiling too much about maybe perhaps his name or anything about him? What kind of backstory does this central character sort of possess that gives him a certain set of skills, you might say?
well, we can kind of share names and stuff. You don't get much off of names. So we
Well,
have the main character, Gustav,
mm,
given him my middle name because why not? Um,
hey,
who was, as I said, had his family killed, kind of sending him into a spiraling depression and rage, making him join a offshoot of the DPW, which DPW, yes, Department. Wait,
no, no,
DWP. I don't
DPW.
remember.
You got
You
it.
guys know what I'm saying.
You'll read
The
about it.
offshoot of the DPW called the DPR, Department of Prehistoric Rescue, which is the special task force that go out and actually target traffickers and take down their organizations. And he's doing that to
Interesting.
go after the person that killed his family.
Strong opening, I must say. And so, what challenges does Gustav find along the way as he's involving with this? Like, what's the central driving force between him wanting to leave what I recall to be Australia at the beginning of the
It
book? If that's the case.
starts in Australia because of that one. Um,
Oh,
just because that was also an interesting location to start it because it is a location that we have not actually seen before,
breaks my heart to this day.
technically speaking. But so he starts out supposedly retired, thinking he made the shot, if you will. But he didn't. So he comes in most of the conflicts he comes along the way, other than the obvious people that he's going against to get to his goal, is actually surprisingly even the people within that are helping him within, commentary
Corruption
conflict
from within.
or crew conflict within ideas of not necessarily morality and ethics. With the other main characters, or some other main characters with Ryan Maines, based on somebody else here. Daniel, who shows up later on, and then blanking on the last one, Kai.
Kai, yes.
All have their own unique roles within it.
Mm.
And then there's another character, Connor, who also is a main character. Where other than Connor, I'm pretty sure, I tried to deal with the heavy theme of loss, where they all resemble some form of loss, whether permanent or temporary. So you have the main character, Gustav, who has the obvious example of loss of like family directly. Like he cannot get them back. They have died.
Loved ones, yeah.
Like, shed a tear, and then a little bit through it, a little bit of loss of sanity. Just a little bit. You have Ryan Maines, where his character is a trafficker that actually works with Santos.
Santos, you say? What?
And actually gets betrayed, but I will not reveal by who and where and when and why.
Smart
Go read the book. But his thing is the loss of status. You have Daniel, who his family is actually on the run because of his predicament that he is in. I don't want to spoil that too much. So it's the loss of family, and that's how he kind of relates to Gustav a little bit. But his is not permanent. And then you have Kai, who is actually taking over the DPR, but they're losing funding. They have lost funding because the DPW went under. And so she got shipped off to Australia to go help them form an organization. And then she's losing funding because there's not a lot of stuff there, apparently. People don't bring stuff into the desert often. I say that. But so that's like a loss of resources.
A loss of security, a loss of security.
And there's Connor, who's just kind of the loss of experience. Where
the loss of experience. Oh, I like
that. If you will. I say loss of experience. It's more like lack of experience. He's like the newbie character.
I see.
I.e. the exposition dump.
So there's reprobates, I suppose you would call them, or rapscallions. Where does this journey take them throughout the story there?
So, as mentioned, it starts in Australia, where they pick up Gustav, meet up with most of the cast with Kai, Connor, Ryan, and Gustav. But then we actually technically shoot over to Brazil for a couple scenes. Well, America, then back to Australia, then to Brazil, technically. Then they actually go up to Vietnam, where they run into Daniel, and then over to Japan.
Interesting. Wow, so certainly got some exotic locations there for everybody. So I was just, without spoiling what it is that is you've spoken to me about now, I realize as well that you've also wanted to bring back certain potential like hybrids. I've heard of a bit of a word in there without saying which one, is that true? Can you confirm or deny that?
Yes, there is. Old hybrids that we've seen before, along with new one.
Everybody who loves their this might be the one for you. Excellent. And so let me ask something a little bit different here, right? So when you wrote scenes with some of these dinosaurs, right? Like obviously everyone puts in their favorite dinosaurs, right? Were they just for like, were some of them just for like action purposes there? Like, did you pick them based on like one would make for a compelling scene, or was there kind of like a deeper layer of like choice, I guess, put beneath that, like something that relates to the characters in the story, like a specific species?
For some of them, for the Australia scenes primarily, I actually tried to stay with more Australian native dinosaurs.
As you would.
just because I feel that, for spoilers, there are Rugops and Australovenator. What? Um,
Ooh.
I feel those are dinosaurs that are not well known. And as for dinosaurs in general, I
Hmm.
tried to stay away from the ones that have been heavily used.
Yeah,
So I
like
tried,
celebrity status ones.
yeah. If you've seen it in a direct, I think Suchomimus
Hmm.
and one of the hybrids technically are the two
Technically.
most like, I don't want to say famous because there are some other famouser ones in
Well,
my
the famous
opinion,
ones, yeah.
but those are the only two that we have actually seen
Hmm.
in the show or in the movies, in the shows or movies.
I like that.
I
I
think there
like the
might be
sound of that.
one more
Ooh.
off the top of my head if I'm remembering
Hmm.
straight.
And so, is there any like overlap with any characters from the movies in there potentially, or is it all completely sort of original, set somewhere else sort of story?
There is actually overlap,
Oh,
and I'm going to relate this to camp
camp
theory,
theory,
chaos, chaos camp,
camp
or
theory,
chaos,
or chaos,
chaos Cretaceous.
chaos camp would have been a slapping name for that show.
Chaos
Mm.
theory, where there's one line that I
Oh.
heard it and I ran with it, and it's between Santos and Dodgson, where
Ooh.
Dodgson says, "It's so nice to finally meet you in person." And I heard
Ooh.
that in person and was like, okay, so they've talked, just not in person.
They have spoken. They have known through each other through osmosis. They've never actually met in person, though. That's interesting. All right. I like the sound of
So
that.
I
I like the sound of
actually
that.
add connections
Oh,
between
because that's what we
them.
do. We listen. That's the insane stuff that you and I do these days, man. We hear one single line and we write an entire book over it.
There's that connection, but then there's something connecting them. I won't
Oh,
say
gorgeous,
what.
gorgeous.
Go read the book.
Read the book. So, did anything like kind of surprise you, Eric, while you were writing this book? Like maybe there was like a character or even a scene that maybe ended up a bit different than when you first wrote it. Was there anything about that you can tell us?
As for writing it, I feel like this is probably the most prepared I've been for writing something, which is kind of telling with probably over a couple hundred. I probably have 200 episodes out now. It's probably a little shocking. I don't write episodes, I just wing it usually.
What? No.
What? Who did that? Who says that? But I feel just spending time organizing it at the beginning like I did.
Mm.
For those of you who are actually on the Patreon, you can actually see the original plan that I had laid out. And you can actually compare
Oh,
notes and see what characters I got rid of, what characters I kept, what characters I changed.
interesting.
I think as for I don't know if there was any difficulties.
Hmm.
I think the difficulties were just keeping it grounded within reason.
What a challenge that must have been.
And I'm not talking about like somebody having super strength or super
Mm.
speed or something goofy like that, but just like no movie, no book is perfect. There's probably always a plot hole. In fact, there's probably still plot holes in this that
Mm.
if you guys find, feel free to point them out. Maybe I can
We're waiting on all of you overzealous nerds to tell us.
something like that. Um, but just like going back and making sure that I tried to fit in all the plot holes, fill in all the plot holes that I could.
Oh, of course, of course, of course. So, how would you say between how would you say between the beginning of the story and by the end of the book, do some of the characters' emotional journeys kind of go through some staggering change? Like, for instance, your fellow Gustav, right? Does he feel like he finds closure by the end of this first book?
Closure's a loose term, but yes.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
definitely. But I tried to. There is probably a slight lack of character development with some of them,
Hmm.
but there's definitely character development there.
Hmm. Of course, of course. And
There's
so,
infighting that leads to character development, and just certain actions that are taken by
hmm,
certain characters might be surprising.
hmm. Oh well,
Yeah,
you hear
you
that, ladies
can
and
do
gents?
that.
Surprising. You got to go read it now, surely. So, tell us this then. So, obviously, everything draws inspiration from everything, right? So, aside from Jurassic Park, what kind of inspirations did you take from other sorts of media and stuff to be able to create this sort of story? Because I remember when we first spoke about it a long time ago, one of the biggest influences was, of course, the John Wick movies, and I thought
Okay.
that was a very interesting choice of them. So, yeah,
So
what kind of things did you take inspiration from?
I kind of made a story and a plot. I don't want to say without dinosaurs, but you could take the dinosaurs out and there
Mm,
would be like one, maybe two chapters that would suffer.
mm,
But it's more a focus on the human element. I tried to focus a lot more on the human element than the dinosaur element, if
right.
that makes sense. So, like you said, John Wick, of course. There's a hint of heist in there in some sections.
Wha-
Shadow government?
Of
Question mark?
Gladiator,
Question mark?
perhaps, the bit of a
Question
certain
mark?
Colosseum sort of scene in there, as I've heard.
Definitely Gladiator to an extent, where there
Mm-hmm.
was where the giant pit in Chaos Theory season 2 and the
Hmm.
underground arena in Dominion in Chaos Theory season 3.
Hmm.
I took that and ran that those
Yep.
exist. Um I don't regret that at all. I had so much fun writing those scenes. But
Amazing.
there are definitely action scenes and I tried to add tension.
Hmm.
I don't want to say at all times, but very often where there's never
Interesting.
really a sense of security because I feel like that's what would exist in a world like this to try to make the dinosaurs kind of scary again, if you will.
Yeah, of course, of course. And was there any sort and just on that, actually, was there any sort of like deeper ideas that you wanted to get across with this story? Like something maybe a bit personal or maybe like just about a message as to how the world is sort of today?
Shadow government. What? I'm not a conspiracy theorist,
Mission Impossible.
but definitely I was trying to get through the theme of loss with showing some of the characters and their behaviors. And how like loss can affect people.
Mm,
Uh, so I mean, that was kind of a big theme amongst characters that I did try to build to,
yeah.
and then trying to find hope within that loss, if that makes
Mm,
sense.
fascinating, fascinating. And so, tell me this then. So, the term of like wildcards, why that as a title specifically?
Because they are a ragtag group of random assorted people. There's a civilian woman from Crimea that moved to Australia. Lily,
Hmm.
I forgot her. I left her out. I did not mention her.
Ooh.
Um, you got a random freedom fighter from Brazil that had to leave for personal reasons, then moved to Vietnam to pick up freedom fighting there. You have a ex PWR, now retired paleontologist who went AWOL.
Uh huh.
Um, and for those of you who don't know, that's kind of whenever you go off and do your own thing in the military. You have a current PWR adjacent worker
Faction.
woman that's
Hmm.
trying to rebuild funding and adhere by a PWR code. You have
Hmm.
some new kid that doesn't really know much. And then you have literally their enemy working with them, a trafficker who like has kind of the behind the scenes look on everything.
I see. I see. Fascinating. Fascinating. And so, I guess, I mean, you've pretty much nailed all my questions so far. I guess so. Really, the only last one I've really got for you here, Eric, is are we getting a sequel anytime soon?
There anytime soon is a stretch,
Mm.
but there are plans for a sequel.
Ooh, already, everybody.
They will return.
Ooh, ooh. You should have put that at the
So
end. These characters will
I think I
return,
put that
probably.
at the end of, yeah, and for those of you, it is 233 pages.
So
I
it's
did
a
not.
solid little afternoon's worth of reading there. If anyone's calculating,
It's still shorter than the original Jurassic Park book.
it is, if you can believe it. It's only about 4 hours to get through. Hmm. And also, I hear that there's plans to have an audiobook version coming as well soon.
Hopefully soon, if I can rally enough people to get
To
that and
voice
get
it.
the voice actors that I need. Because my plan for the audiobook, because I feel a lot of audiobooks can suffer, a lot of them don't, but they can suffer with one voice
Yeah.
not being as engaging, if that makes sense. So I
No,
do
of
want
course.
to try to get a voice unique to every character.
Yeah. That makes sense, I suppose. Excellent, excellent. And yeah, I suppose really that's all the main questionnaires I kind of have for you there, Eric. Man, is there anything else you want to discuss when it comes to this?
So, I mean, I had a lot of fun writing this to
Hmm.
the point where I'm going to write more books. Some I'll be able to sell, some I won't be able to. I won't. Um, but copyright is totally doesn't suck. Um,
No.
but again, like I said, this one is for free. The entire Jurassic World Wildcards trilogy, what
What?
is going to be free to y'all? Just
Hmm.
just because, like,
Hmm.
as the first book, I
Yep.
want it to be there for y'all.
Oh, of course.
Copyright, what?
Yep. Fun times, everybody.
Something like
Fun
that.
times.
But
Yeah.
as you go through it, I just hope y'all enjoy it and hope and enjoy reading it as much as I did writing it. And I'm
Mm,
looking forward to doing the audiobook behind this. That'll probably be the
mhm.
next project before the sequel or while I
Yeah.
work on the sequel. But also, if y'all are keeping up with the Instagram, y'all saw I left a poll on there.
Mm.
Let me make sure I open the right one.
Yeah,
I
you got a
asked y'all,
staggering bit of following behind this. Surprisingly, like a lot of people have been checking out your
a
little
lot
leaks
of
about
people
what
were
could be.
really excited for both of these, but one was actually surprisingly more. That's also Dinosaurs of the Wild West. I forgot the artist's name, and I feel so bad about that.
Mhm.
Maybe I can find that real quick. What is his name? By
Good for
Sean
you.
Keenan.
Oh.
I think that's it on Kickstarter. So go support that man. His artwork is really amazing. He does all kinds of like human dinosaur. Like combination, if that makes sense. Not like
Mhm.
hybrids, but like people riding dinosaurs and things like that, like warriors throughout history and stuff. And one he did was Dinosaurs of the Wild West. And the other one was Jurassic World Crimson River.
Ah, yes.
So I kind of just left it up to a poll. I didn't really elaborate on either of these, so I will probably say that's my fault on that. I probably should have done that. But
Mm.
since apparently I can't see the poll on this computer and I need to pull it up on here. So a whopping 71% of y'all said the top one, which is called Gunsmoke and Thunder Lizards, which is a Western.
Interesting title.
Oh, very much so. It is a Western that takes on the idea of what if the tales of dinosaurs being alive in the West was true.
Was still a thing, yeah.
Was
Fascinating.
true. And then the bottom, a whopping only 29% of y'all, which I guess would be the other equivalent, 7 plus 71 plus 29. What? Said Jurassic World Crimson River, which is actually take place on the Nile with Spinosaurus. Without giving too much away on that, but they will both be written. They will both be written, but this was just
no,
a
no,
matter
no
of which
release
one
date
do
for
y'all
us.
want written first.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Well, as I say, everybody listening in, look, thank you so much for listening into this little release reveal, I guess you would say we have going for you.
And
It's been an honor to work beside this man this whole time, coming up with ideas and the
it's been an
constant
honor
chatter.
just having you feeding me whatever ideas and working with you,
That's what
dog.
I'm here for. It's literally what I'm here for, bruvs. So, yeah, if everyone you want to go check it out, you might want to go check out his Patreon where you'll have this linked up. It's a pretty decent read, everyone. If you've got a spare bit of time and you like a bit of Jurassic, hey, go check this fellow's stuff out, eh?
And thank you, man, for helping me with this project so much.
Oh, absolutely, bro.
Just,
Happy to do so.
so I mean,
Gorgeous.
for those of you, again, like I said, it will be in the bio of my Instagram. Eventually, it'll be on my website. I got to figure out how to do that, put it there. And it will be free on my Patreon, which you should be able to check it without having to subscribe.
Yeah, of course.
But I really hope y'all just enjoy reading it and
Mm.
leave comments under
Yeah,
whatever.
leave your feedback. Leave your honest feedback. I'm surely only ever help with the second book and not delay it even further.
Absolutely, totally. It's pretty much getting written regardless, just because I enjoyed writing. I've just enjoyed the writing process so much. But thanks for coming on and helping me reveal this book, man. I don't know how I could have done without you and the help of so many other people.
You would have figured it out eventually.
Something like that.
Gorgeous.
But
yeah, gorgeous.
that is all for me right now.
Yeah. I'll see everybody next time. I forget how we do the outro.
Do you have any final thoughts?
I think that it is an engaging book. I have read through what I have, and it is a very engaging book. So everybody go and definitely check it out as soon as you can. Oh, and also, for anyone listening, if there are any artists out there that are particularly interested in maybe getting a bit of a foot in the door with this man's project and doing some Jurassic-themed potentially pieces, hit this fellow up. He's on a bit of the open source market at the moment. He's kind of chasing someone to maybe bring a few scenes from this book to life. So yeah, if you get any chance, look him up. You find him at Instagram there. Eric G. Crawford, Mr. Paleo Podcast.
But I guess that's all from me. I hope you all have a great afternoon, morning, evening, night, whatever time it is for you. And I'm your host, Eric Crawford. That's Jack O'Hara.
That's me.
And remember, keep it prehistoric. Goodbye.
Whew.
Little blooper scene.
Oh, I don't know. Still running.
Bloopers?
Gotta keep running. I don't have any bloopers.
Nah, me neither. Read the book.